Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJ City UK lab. Today I'm returning to the topic of portablism. Now I covered this in some depth with Richie Roughtone a few months back on the channel, and we showcased a bunch of different products designed for the scene. Now that got a great reaction, and since then the scene has continued to grow. We've got a great new series on DJcityTV called Off the Beat and Path, and that is in conjunction with Battle Avenue, so we'll link that down below. That's worth checking out as well. And yeah, the scene is growing, and if you need an indicator of how big the scene is getting, today I'm looking at the first product from a mainstream big manufacturer with portablism actually in mind, and that is the PTO1 Scratch from Newmark. This is like the original PTO1 USB turntable, but it's got some features on there which are designed just for cutting, just for the portablism scene. Also going to be looking at the Jessi fader, the DDX2 fader. Jessi is quite a legendary figure on the scene in terms of his designs and the way he puts things together, so that's definitely worth a look. And also looking at a portable Bluetooth speaker to be used with all this stuff by DJ ResQ out of France, and this is the BT1. So again, taking a good close look at that. I'm going to wrap up as well. I've got a little short tip for you as well, something that might make your portable adventures a little bit more economical and save you quite a lot of money. So let's get to it. So first up we have the Newmark PTO1 Scratch, as seen on the right of your screen here. The earlier PTO1 USB was, along with the Vestax HandyTracks, one of the products which really enabled the whole portablism scene to happen. The Scratch version is largely the same. It's a lightweight belt-driven turntable with a line output, headphone output, line input, USB connection and a cheap ceramic stylus. There are some important differences though. Most notably is the Scratch switch, basically a tilting rocker switch that performs a similar function to a crossfader, cutting the sound from the vinyl in and out. Now, I've seen a few people be a bit snarky about this. It's not a real fader, it doesn't have the same feel, and they're right. It is a bit different. The tilting rather than sliding motion does feel a bit strange at first, but I found myself really enjoying it and pulling off all of the admittedly limited scratch techniques that I can do quite happily with it. There are two things to consider here. Firstly, Newmark wanted to keep the cost low, and the PTO1 Scratch is only $129, just $30 more than the old model. And secondly, whatever they put on there has to be adaptable to different preferences in terms of layout. The Scratch switch can be rotated through 8 different positions easily, and no fader on a turntable this size will ever be able to do that, unless you're going to Velcro one on top, in which case you could have just bought the PTO1 USB anyway. The other thing which makes the Scratch version a cool upgrade is that the line input is now fed directly to the speaker, whereas previously it only ran through to the USB output for recording. So with that, plus the switch, you now have a fully Scratch ready setup with just one cable. Jack in a looper app on your phone, throw a piece of vinyl on the deck, and you are rocking. And that's what makes the PTO1 Scratch, for me, probably the most fun product I've used this year. It's simple and it's affordable. I did speak to a couple of guys who are big in the mod scene, and they were totally cool with the PTO1 Scratch. Nothing in it will negate the mods that they do already, and having the Scratch switch on there with a nice accessible connector might even make it more moddable than the previous model. Overall, it's hard for me to see the PTO1 Scratch as anything but a positive step forwards for the scene. It is a big manufacturer acknowledging that the scene is out there and it exists, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Side note, there are tons of new 7-inch battle records hitting the shelves all the time now, another sign of the growth of the portablism scene. In this video, I'm using a test pressing of Just Stay Funky Like Czar from Cut and Paste Records, which has some dope, unusual samples, as well as the regular R and fresh stuff that I'm using here. It's well recommended. And so we move on to the Jessi DDX2 fader. Now, all credit to Frisk and Raiden for coming out with the original portablism faders, but it must be acknowledged that those really were as basic as a fader can get, and the Jessi model is an example of the next generation of kits starting to come through. What we have is a dual rail design, which should be far more durable and less susceptible to wear, and Jessi does have a great video on how to clean it when it eventually does get dirty. It's full stereo, it has a full-size fader cap from our buddies at Cooler Caps, and interestingly cuts on both sides. That means you can have both hamster and regular scratchers using the same table. You can practice cutting in both directions, or even get into some crazy double cutting techniques. You still have the regular aux input for your loopers, and naturally the cut is super tight on both sides. Are there any negatives? Well, it is pretty big, tall especially, and so unlike earlier faders, you won't be able to leave it mounted to the body of the PT01 and put the lid on the deck to carry it around. And you do still have all the fun of hooking up multiple cables and requiring an external speaker. It retails at $99, and at this price point I'd definitely say it's worth the premium over the current Raiden fader, although it should be noted that the next generation from Raiden actually has an inner fader in there. But that's going to cost a lot more money, it's going to require external power, and so the jury is out for now. If you're looking for a high quality Portablism fader right this minute, the Jessi DDX2 has to be the top of your list. If you are going for an external fader on your Portabilist setup, you will be needing that external speaker, and I found my favourite so far. It comes from renowned French video DJ ResQ and is seriously a bit of a bargain. Firstly, it's very compact, around half the size of the mini rig speaker I was using previously, but the output is still very loud and clean too, with very little distortion, even at high volumes. I've been using it in the lab as my go-to quick setup speaker when testing other gear for weeks now, and it's always done a good job. It has a built-in rechargeable battery which lasts for hours, even when using Bluetooth, which of course you won't be doing in a portable setup, you'll be using the line input. It has a bunch of other features which make it versatile for all kinds of uses. You can play MP3s directly from a USB stick or micro SD card. It comes with a sturdy case, and it's even got an FM radio built in as well. But the real kicker with the BT1 is the price. It's sold directly from ResQ's site for €49 plus shipping, an absolute steal for such a versatile little speaker. I'm a big fan of this one. And finally, a quick tip. Both the Newmark and Vestax portable turntables take D-size batteries. Now, they may last a while, but they are expensive and they're heavy, and they're not always available at every store that you visit. So I got some of these adapters to turn AA batteries into D-size. They're actually the same voltage, just different capacity. And so that means I can use a bunch of AA rechargeable batteries, which I already have, and save a lot of money over time. The adapters can be found on eBay or Amazon very cheaply, often less than $1 each, and are well worth having in your gear bag. I was alerted to the possibility of a slight upgrade option by DJ Focus, however. You can buy versions of these which take 1, 2 or 3 AA batteries, which will give you even longer battery life for much the same price. They're on my shopping list next, for sure. So there we go, 3 cool products which will make an interesting addition to your Portablism setup on your portable adventures. Now, this is not the end of this topic. There's another step we need to go to beyond all of this. Right now, we've just been talking about cutting with regular battle vinyl, you know, real actual vinyl. The next step, DVS. So we've got the Mix fader here on review. That is a portable Bluetooth fader designed to work with this stuff with DVS, with iOS, with Android, or with a laptop. So we're going beyond just cutting in the normal way, and we're going to go into that digital realm with this stuff as well, and it's going to get really interesting. So that will be coming soon on the channel. In the meantime, do make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks and product reviews. I'll see you soon.